you can't even really put that into a sentence. You know, when you're thinking about where he was and possibly, you know, needing some sort of medication to help him focus to where he is now, I would never have thought coming out here would have done that.
That's amazing. Welcome back to American Traddiction, a journey of breaking carb addiction. Last week, Michelle upped the stakes by focusing on her son's attention issues and the impact carbs had on him. In this episode, she uses that deeper motivation for success with fasting.
That's right. Setting a pattern of weekly fasting just 6 short weeks ago felt impossible. The ease of fasting now and the clarity of my mind still amazes me.
Yes, so as Michelle reaps the rewards, pioneering to these uncharted levels of keto and fasting, she sets her family up for success with her brave example. Stick around to the end to see how the keto rash is itching at her success.
Well, I think that's big, breaking the cycle. That's what you're doing. That was that moment that I said, that's what addiction looks like. To be able to just to say, okay, it's in his diet and we may not even need to visit for medicine, that was huge.
So we are on the 3rd fast. So tell, first of all, you'd done 1 fast before these cycles of fasts. Can you reflect back on, in the month before you did the fast, what were some of the things that you had tried to do and I kind of put the brakes on, and we got to a moment where we said, okay, I think you're ready for a fast. Why don't you just share what happened before fasting was the right plan?
Oh, absolutely. I was kind of rushing it because being a habitual dieter, you know, you have this checklist. Okay, this is what I've done, check. Now next, check. You have to really shift your thinking and, okay, this is going to be a lifestyle. We don't have to run through it. So I was doing 23 in 1, and you're like, slow down, put on the brakes, add some cream back in your coffee. I'm like, I don't want to.
Don't you know that we're all about, we're losing weight here. Come on, this is not going to work out.
Exactly. But I remember that we circled back the next week, and I was like, oh, I'm so glad you told me to do that, because, you know, family was coming in. That was a little bit, you know, planning different meals and such. It was time to pause.
Right.
And so, you know, I hit that pause, and my body got caught back up, and then I kind of got stuck after, I think, about 2 weeks after that.
Right. And what time hours were you, what was your eating window during that?
During that time, it was about, my eating window was 4 hours.
Right. So that's a really good eating window. That's practically where I live most of the time, is a 4-hour eating window. But 16-8 was a huge shift from where you had been, so you had success there.
Yes.
And then you had gone all the way to 1, and then we kind of inched back to something that was a little like, okay, this has got some edges where forgiveness shows up. 4 hours. What does 4 hours look like? You got kids involved, you got changes in schedules. 1 hour becomes really short.
Yes, it does.
By about the 2nd week, you're like, I can't get it all in.
Yeah.
So 4 hours, and you had found what I like to call a rhythm. Like your family knew what 4 hours looked like. You could feel what 4 hours looked like. And then you stalled.
Yes. After that, I stalled. And Madison, my daughter, had said, when are you going to start fasting? I'm like, well, it's probably around the corner. I said, because I've stalled. And like you said, my body just needed that little nudge.
Right. When I mentally frame it for myself, and when I'm trying to say, it's not this awful F word, it really is this, it's an exercise. The 4 hours of eating is one throttle of exercise for the mitochondria. Constantly knowing you're going to have to pull fat from the storage, and it's doing that, but it's at this nice slow trickle. That if you put enough calories in those 4 hours, you turned on the insulin and you stored as much as you took in. So that's where they stall. So then we step into a fast. Yes. So unpack the first fast for you. Like, how did you prepare? What actually happened?
I was kind of excited because I knew that's what I needed, because I just had stalled. And, you know, after about a week and a half of stalling, you're like, okay, this has got to move, right? And so I was mentally ready that first week, and I was excited. It wasn't, I don't know, it was exciting to me. Maybe because it was a change.
Right.
And I knew it was good. I knew my body needed that. So after the fast, everything was great, except for when you eat the first time. Beware.
That is real. That is real.
So, I was like, oh, I don't have issues with that. I'll be fine. No. No. I was just glad I was home. Oh.
So during that first fast, though, did you have any hunger?
No.
It's amazing to me. Like when people are ready to fast, the first one isn't awful. If they've got salt figured out, if they've been doing one of those baseline metabolisms to the point where they're stable, they can pull ketones out and use them when they need to, and they can store quickly, meaning that's why they're stalling. That first fast doesn't have a lot of negatives. It's only 36 hours. And I know that sounds like a lot to people who've never fasted, but that they should be able to do that without, I mean, evolutionarily, 36-hour fasts were pretty darn normal. Mm-hmm. In the first fast, how many hours did you make it?
48.
Yeah, so that's just amazing. So you set a goal for 36, but when they feel good and they can reach a little longer than that because they really, at that point, your 4 hours wasn't ever in the morning, so then it was going to kind of like, it messes up the routine almost. So keeping the 4 hours where they had been got you to 48 hours. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you have the first meal after 48 hours. Then what happens?
About 20 minutes later, you're running to the bathroom. I was running to the bathroom. Yeah, for real.
So what did you eat?
We had chicken fajitas in a bowl.
Yay!
Yeah, sour cream, some salsa. And I felt fine, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to sip on some coffee. Yeah. I made it about halfway through that cup of coffee.
So, and then how long did the loose stools last?
Actually, that night and then into the next morning. So I had two very loose stools.
Well, and the next morning you went back to your normal coffee and without fat, fat in the coffee or
not. Usually, when I try to keep it into that 4-hour window, I won't even do coffee until about 12:30.
Oh, okay, that's great.
Yeah.
So you really didn't have a big stimulus of intake of food in the morning either. Mm-hmm. So the evening hour is when you had that meal. About what hour did you eat?
About 4:30. Okay,
so you head to bed. You've had one bout of loose stools. You make it through the night without waking up, though, right? Mm-hmm. That's a good sign, actually. Okay. When people are waking up in the middle of the night with diarrhea, we got to slow things down a little further. All right, so we are done with the first 2 months. We are now working into the weekly fasts, which have become a bigger focus for you. Do you think that it was during those weekly fasts that you found a more tunneled or sectioned look at your why?
I think so. Now, I will admit, the second go-around with the fasting was tougher. Mentally, it was not hunger tougher, just mentally tougher. I'm not sure why. It was just my week to be moody and grumpy, I guess. And I really didn't want to do it. Yeah. But I did it anyway. But I just was like, I don't want to do this. And that's when you have to revisit, why am I doing this?
It's super important. Mm-hmm. I mean, so as you did that, what came to the top of your, as you're thinking through this? Because when I get moody, I can't think about my why. I have to have either thought about it beforehand or pray to God I get to the other side of that little temper.
That moment.
You have to say, okay, what am I doing this for again? So how did you process that?
The people around me who it has affected in a really positive way, whether that be from the motivation of working out and getting to work out with my daughter. Because when she does that, when she gets in that mode, she gets in what I call beast mode. She just kills it. So that's inspiring.
That's fun.
And then just watching the changes in Jace. Yeah, you can't even really put that into a sentence. When you're thinking about where he was and possibly, needing some sort of medication to help him focus to where he is now, I would never have thought coming out here would have done that.
That's amazing. Mm-hmm. How many parents would trade? What happens after they get on medications is then the kid thinks of themselves differently. The family does. The teacher does. And they don't have control. It's all fixed by this pill. And I think that empowerment, that mom taught me something that now is better.
It's empowering to him too, I'm sure. Because then he has that self-realization of, I can have control over this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a gift.
Yeah.
So what other things, as you prepare for a fast, did you do good the first time and now we are on the third one? Do you have Do you have set things that you like mentally set up for, or?
No, not yet. I haven't anyway. That's a good idea, though.
Yeah. It's a trick that last week when you were having a struggle, I thought, oh, I should have helped her with this. So if I could give you a little advice as finding a way that fasting become more of a ritual, something where you do it rhythmically until we get you healthy. I would put that higher on the list of saying, find one thing you pray for, or one thing you like kind of center your fast around. And then if I write it down, then I get in the habit of writing it down. So that's another way. Just,
oh, I like that.
This is my fast. And then you can also keep track of how many fasts have you done. And you've got your little journal that says, okay, and here's what they were dedicated to.
Okay, that's awesome.
Okay, so tell me about what else has gone wrong? What are some other like setbacks for?
So I've noticed with incorporating working out, when you look at your app, it will actually allow you more calories.
Oh,
right. So you have to be very careful with that, because I have caught myself, I think, confession time, a couple of nights I have snacked. It has been on keto food, but it still doesn't matter. It's still food. It's still that stimulation that you don't need. And it's still the excess calories that, oh, that's why that scale's not moving very well.
Right.
So those have been some setbacks, and that happened just Friday night after we worked out at the gym.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, and the workout is actually a good stimulus. I think of that too. It becomes easy saying, I did this, therefore I deserve.
Therefore.
Think of it as working out does to your mitochondria what a fast does. But a fast takes time. And so if I can compartmentalize that when I do the workout, like I'm getting a couple days worth of stimulus to my mitochondria in this workout, as opposed to denying food for 48 hours, which is hard.
Yeah.
Okay, so and exercise is something, you're at the right phase for adding it, just so you know. I try not to have people add it until they are really finding their rhythm. And they should feel good. That's the other thing that you said that's the key is, I feel good. Working out feels good. And then you got a little partner, daughter, mother-daughter relationship thing that's increasing. That's nothing but icing on, okay. It's nothing but salt in the water.
Salt in the water. There you go. So that would be one that I've noticed, okay, because that's an old habit. You know, I think I've mentioned this in the past that, you know, get the kids to bed, get Jesse off to work, and now what?
Right.
So I have to be I have to be mindful of these things that tend to slip back into your life. Although you're trying so dang hard to run from it,
right,
they'll catch back up with you.
It's real.
Yeah, it really is. So you have to be mindful of those things to really break those habits. And then another thing is about 2 weeks. I've had 2 or 3 weeks now. This itchy rash.
Yes.
And the only thing I can attribute it to would be, what I've, heard about the keto rash.
Right.
And exercise, ironically, can make it worse.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
So I try to make sure that I, because it's just on my chest, but boy, it really will burn and itch. And that just makes you want to, it's like a mosquito bite. You want to scratch it some more. Yeah.
So the things that would make it transition faster are to lower chemistry even more. You say, well, why does exercise make it worse? Because you sweat and you slough skin. So it's that sweating, that lubrication in the skin that just makes it all kind of inflame. The histamine can move around a little more, which is what is itching. So the antidotes that I've had for patients are, I have them do at least weekly floats. It's amazing exfoliation. So you're going to take off that skin layer faster if you can do that once a week. But the next one is that if you weren't fasting, I would ask you to fast. Make sure it's once a week. And then I would document, carefully what's your morning numbers at the end of each fast to see if you're getting stronger on each one. So I think it's not a reasonable expectation in your story, especially to fast more than once a week. It's a rhythm that's working. Try not to sprint. The other place that you can dial it in without adding a fast is that for the first time, you're going to hear me say a word that I haven't said before, which is calories. So you eat less during your 4-hour window.
Okay.
That there is this permission that we say, just eat what you need to feel full, eat what you need to feel full. But if you're trying to get our keto rash to go away, restricting the calories during your window will help it. And again, it's a transition to get all those skin layers to kind of look uniform again, and then it goes away.
Okay.
So, but it sucks.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing that you've noticed that's gotten better?
My favorite thing?
Yeah.
My clothes.
Yeah.
Like I have this box of, okay, like stuff I brought out that I'm like, I'm not going to wear that or don't need that. And it was maybe this big, but now the box is overflowing because I've wore something and I've gone back to try it on. And that's when I first got here and it's too big now. So,
oh, that's just the best box ever.
Yeah, I know, right? So it keeps growing, and I plan on to donating that.
Burn it, just like make it even bigger, better.
Yeah, but it's getting to the point where my daughter will be like, "Mom, we really got to go shopping." So the pants are really baggy in the bottom, and those kind of things. I'm like, not yet, not yet.
Mm.
You know what's really bad though when your husband brings home 2 pair of jeans. It's like, I don't know what size you're in, but you need to try these on. I'm like, is it that bad? He's like, yes.
Especially knowing that it's my brother. Yeah. That's a bold move.
See?
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Well, he gets a check mark. Good job.
They're tired of seeing me in baggy jeans.
No, it's a blessing. I can't wait to see what your mom's response is when she sees you. Because even though Zoom is one thing, just that there is an energy from somebody whose health is better, and you can't capture it. You can. It's a spiritual thing, like it's like, oh, that's real, and it's motivating.
I'm excited for that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
In just 9 weeks, we watched Michelle go from a carb-fueled novice to a weekly faster. Incredible. Next week, we'll wrap up with her 12th week and have her weigh in and measure for the first time since week 1.
We'll also look into my journey and what will be the final episode before our live 6-month update. So be sure to subscribe. You don't want to miss it.